You. Do you believe that there is greatness within you? I believe so. Because just imagine you have more atoms in your body than the entire stars in the universe that we can observe at this moment. So that way, it makes you great. And let's talk about the inner greatness of you later on in this verse. And now, stay with me. Hi, welcome back to Oneness. Today is day 25 and we will be looking at verse 25 from Tao Te Ching. As usual, before we begin, let's observe a few seconds of silence. Thank you. So now let's look at verse 25 from Tao Te Ching. Something mysteriously formed, born before heaven and earth, in the silence and the void, standing alone and unchanging, ever present and in motion. Perhaps it is the mother of 10,000 things. I do not know its name. Call it Tao. For lack of better word, I call it great. Being great, it flows. It flows far away. Having gone far, it returns. Therefore, Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The human being is also great. These are four great powers of the universe. And the human being is one of them. The human being follows the earth. Earth follows heaven. Heaven follows Tao. Tao follows what is natural. Alright. Somehow I felt deeply connected with this verse. And the main reason is here, Lord Tzu himself clearly says he cannot express what it is in the beginning. So he just refers to as Tao. So it's evident that it is not that he's propagating or he's talking about everyone should believe in that word or called Tao, which itself means the way. He doesn't say that. All he is referring to the eternal truth, the one which always existed in this whole universe. Before manifestation of planets and stars and human beings and earth, there is something which is unmanifested which was there in the beginning. So that is what he is referring to as Tao. And what Tao follows? It follows the natural way of its own. Right? He doesn't talk about it follows something else again. No, it follows what is natural. So that way I feel my connect with this verse. And now, let's go line by line and try to understand what Lord Tzu means in this verse 25. So the first 5 lines, he clearly talks about there is something which is ever present. So we talked in the past about the beginning, be it be Big Bang and what was there before the Big Bang, be it be from the scientific perspective or from the spiritual perspective. So to make it easier, so let's understand that at the beginning, there was one consciousness with unlimited energy. And that energy expanded into the form of universe, and that consciousness, that intelligence manifested into different forms. And that form includes human beings. And one of the translation I read, the first 5 lines, they also talk about chaos. What they mean by chaos is, according to them, the pictogram of what Lord Tzu wrote, he talks about both sun and water. So they talk about in one picture, the pictogram, that there is both sun and water which represent chaos. How there can be sun and water together. So it can be interpreted in 2 ways. One is it's a chaos, or it can be said that the sun and the water also formed from the one. So now let's go to the rest of the lines. Perhaps it is a mother of 10,000 things. I do not know its name. Call it Tao. For the lack of better word, I call it great. So here he talks about everything originated from that single source. Then everything is manifesting. And he doesn't know what to name it. So he calls it Tao. The Tao means the way. And then he also says, as a quality, it is great. And then he talks about being great, it flows. It flows far away. Having gone far, it returns. So these three lines, it talks about being great, it reaches to the far, which also we know that the universe is ever expanding. It is expanding that at this moment as well. But at the same time, we are talking about it will go back to return. Even science say that after some billions years later, the whole universe may contract and go back to the same single point of source of creation of everything. And then he goes like, therefore, Tao is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great. The human being is also great. These are four great powers of the universe, and the human being is one of them. So first he says, the way of Tao, the nature, is great. Heaven is great. Earth is great, which gives life form to every one of us, every single being, as we know at this moment, is great. And then he talks about human beings is also great. So here is where it is very profoundly put that he is considering we human beings one with Tao. There is no, he doesn't have any hierarchy. He says Tao is great, heaven is great, earth is great, human beings is also great. And how do I see this? It is clearly talking about we are one originated from the great source. What I mean by that? See, it is like when we formed within the mother's womb, we were a single cell and then we multiplied, we divided and multiplied and become a whole being. So though each organs of us, has a different composition, different cell density and etc., but still what makes us a whole being is an all atom, right? So that way, the single source of the universe, it's got divided and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, created all the stars and planets that what we see, including Earth and human beings. And that's how I see that. Instead of we seeing one and dividing it into two and further dividing into four, categorizing and dividing things, instead we should see the ultimate truth. The truth is, we all originated from single source. That makes everything, every moving, non-moving, living, non-living, everything that in existence and ever forming, all are one with the source. That is why the humans are great. This reminds me that, why we should see the single thing of origin is a story about Buddha. So in a village, there were people who were fighting over different religion and God. And then they try to compare what does God look like. So they went to Buddha and asked him what God looks like. So what Buddha did is he brought a big, huge, massive elephant and four blind people. And then they asked all the four blind people to experience that big, massive elephant. The first one touched his leg and said, it is a pillar. The second one touched its body and said, it is a wall. The third one touched the elephant's ear and said, it is like a cloth. The fourth one touched the elephant tail and said, it is like a rope. And then Buddha said, see, our understanding of things can be as limited to what we believe. If what we cannot see and comprehend as big as Tao, we wanted to reason out and say it is like this. But then we fail to see the big picture. The big picture is there is one single source, one single truth, and from where everything is originated. And we can call it with the different names and belief. That's up to us. But the moment we understand, there won't be any subdivision, categorize like the human nature. Instead, we go up and see the single truth. And then he goes with, the human beings follows the earth. Earth follows heaven. Heaven follows Tao. And Tao follows what is natural. He ends it beautifully. So that is the order in which it follows. We humans, we respect the earth and we are in earth. And the earth, it follows the heaven. And the heavens follows the nature, which is Tao. And what does Tao follow? Tao follow what is natural. In the other translation, it's been said that to know the way, understand the great within you. So that this is what I like the most. Understand the great within you. So what is the great within us? As I said in the beginning, we are all made up of so many atoms in our body that the whole observable universe doesn't have so many stars. That means that we can put all the stars within us and that makes us a whole being. And that is what also there is a greatness within each one of us. And instead of seeking the answers externally, that we go inwards, internally, the possibility of finding the answer is much better. And also one quick point is we have to be flexible in our approach. Because what comes as a hindrance is something that we learn in the beginning, if you're just holding on to that one belief, that may affect our understanding which comes later on. And that reminds me of one quick story. So once there was a student for a Zen master. And one of the teaching, the Zen master said, my greatest learning so far is the Buddha is our own mind. And this student took it literally and then he went with, oh, Buddha is our own mind. Then he went to forest and meditated and then he lived his life for 20 years inside the forest. With one simple belief that Buddha is our own mind. And after 20 years, there was one other monk who crosses the forest. So this one, he goes and talks to the other one, understand that he's coming from the same teacher. So he says, how is the teacher and what is his teaching? The new one who said that, oh, his greatest understanding is Buddha is not our mind. So the reason why it is so important is the teacher changed his stance from Buddha is our mind to Buddha is not our mind. Whereas the student who believed the teacher from the beginning, who went and meditated and lived in the forest with one single thought, Buddha is our mind. So that makes us think that that is why we should not blindly believe something and accept and follow through. Instead, we should use our rational understanding to split the truth and see as it is, instead of just clouding everything and seeing it as this and that. Trust our inner self and believe what is truth. What is truth for every one of us individually, not that the eternal truth. The truth, the eternal truth has to get aligned with our inner truth. With that, we come to an end of verse 25. And one actionable thought for today is, take some time out and sit with your own self. Meditate and ask yourself, what is the greatness within you? And try to see that how everything came from one single origin and how everything divided and multiplied into too many things that what we see and perceive, and how we can all feel that we are one with everything that is manifested in this whole world. That way, we will understand that we are one with the source. With that, let's conclude day 25 and talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.